So there's actually two things that I want to talk about with this story. One is about body cameras and how they use body cameras here in the city of Pueblo. And the other one is just to sort of delve into this complicated, third branch of government, the judicial system, which isn't aligned with the cops. The executive branch actually tells the police what to do, but it seems like a lot of times that the police and the judges and the jailers and the prosecutors are all on one side. So this is in the 10th Judicial District Attorney. This has to do with the 10th Judicial District Attorney, the District Attorney. Okay, so Jeff Chosner is who the District Attorney is according to this website, county.pueblo.org. But it said that his current term ended on the 10th of January. So is it Jeff Chosner? We don't know. But we will. Joseph Kajar, 36 years old. He's facing charges of possession with the intent to manufacture, distribute a controlled substance, possession of a controlled substance, possession of a weapon by a previous offender, and special offender. All felony charges. So, 3 or 4 felony charges he's faced with? He was pulled over in his car in November 2016. He didn't have any insurance or registration. They towed his vehicle, and when they towed the vehicle, they found, they found a scale, they found suspected heroin. They probably actually should say, possible heroin or something heroin-like, because there was somebody that said they thought it was meth, and it turned out it was just like, I don't know, just something for the dog or some shit, so they totally fucked it up, and he did have a good case to fight. But, okay, so they towed the guy's car, and then they said that they seen it in the passenger seat, is where they said the heroin. The laws that I understand when it comes to probable cause is in plain sight. If they could see something in plain sight, then they have a probable cause to go ahead and search more. So they're saying that the scale was in the front seat, but what kind of heroin dealer would just put their scale in the front seat? I doubt it, because the reason why I doubt this is because this police officer is going to record a second video on his body camera, basically pretending to do the search all over again. So they're going to find 6.8 grams of suspected heroin, a Ruger 357 Magnum firearm, a pill bottle containing amphetamine residue, and $43 all in $1 bills. So apparently having stripper money, $43, where'd you get that $43 at? It's all in $1 bills. And then the suspected heroin, why don't they find out if it's heroin or not? Is it or isn't it? Quick, here's the details. Officer Seth Jensen, he had a preliminary hearing on March 22nd. Officer Seth Jensen was the officer that arrested him and did all this to the guy and put all the felony charges on him. Now, he said that from the hearing, there were text messages that were exchanged between Jensen and Ann Mayer, M-A-Y-E-R, who's a deputy district attorney. So we know Ann Mayer works in the office at the very least. If Jeff Chosner does it, we know that Ann Mayer is, okay? She's the one in charge. And the way Officer Seth Jensen is texting her, basically saying, this is what happened, what should I do? And he was, asking about the body search. They was like, well, go ahead and make sure you put the body camera, documentation in it. And he's like, oh, shit, I didn't have my body camera on. Then he turned it on later on, and then he staged the search of the vehicle. So he staged it, okay? This is according to Joe And Mayor said something about you have to watch your body cam before the motions to make sure the report and camera are the same. So is that she's trying to help cover his ass up? And then Jensen says for the search, the body cam shows different than the report because it was prior to turning my body camera on. I conducted the search. Once I found the shit, I stepped back, called some officer that they don't name, and activated my body cam and walked the courts through it. She's like, was that in the report? If not, you got to write a supplement explaining that your body camera was off during the search and that the body cam that does exist is a reenactment. So somehow this lawyer, Joe Consilja, K-O-N-C-I-L-J-A, is the attorney who represents Kajar. They was able to find this information out. So between Joe Consilja, this Jensen, and Mayer, and then the author, Ryan Severance, he was able to, get right in the middle of all this shit, and so this is pretty remarkable. The judge is going to throw this case out because of Consilja did a really good job. The DA says the people moved to dismiss the case in the interest of justice. So, yeah, right, in the interest of justice, because y'all fucked up with how y'all gathered the evidence. And then he had a lawyer, so he had a good-ass lawyer. If he didn't have a lawyer, he would have been fucked, okay? So good job with Kinsilja. And then he sits there and says about the body camera footage, he says that people think that it represents real time. But it wasn't real time. It was staged, and it was staged in a way that it made it look like it was done in real time. So it was a total cover-up, right? Now, it goes on, okay, so that's the, internal politics right there. It says he could face discipline, Jensen could, but really losing the case, right? I mean, he's embarrassed, and I don't think anything will happen. But it goes on to say, when should the body camera actually be turned on? And it says that the body cameras should be activated in any of the following situations: during all field stops and interview questions, traffic stops. Anytime they feel like it's invaluable, it would be appropriate to record the incident, traffic stop, self-initiated activity, any other contact that becomes adversarial after initial contact in a situation that would otherwise not require recording. And then department supervisors are authorized to review relevant recordings anytime they're investigating alleged misconduct, reports of meritus. Okay, so they don't have to have the camera should be on 24 hours. The entire time that they're on duty, that camera should be on, okay? And so, yeah, I know that's going to take a lot of hard disk space, but you need to find cameras that can record all this, because having them turn things on and off before the incident, well, they don't want the camera to tell them. If they're corrupt, they don't want the camera to be on, and then they'll just feign, I forgot to turn the thing on, just like with this case, right? He forgot to turn the thing on, had to stage it, and now he got the whole case thrown out because he felt like he had to have it on. So he could have just said he didn't have it on, right? But Seth Jensen didn't play as smart as he could. It also seems like he's pretty honest, because he's telling Ann Mayer that he, exactly what he did. And so Ann Mayer was kind of saying, look, you have to make sure your body camera and your, and then it was in text messages. So they asked for the discovery, and they went ahead and passed these text messages on. So I don't know. I'm kind of mixed here, because Ann Mayer and Jensen seem like they're just being too honest. Seth Jensen sitting there admitting what he's doing to Ann Mayer, and then Ann Mayer giving all these text messages in the discovery. So they're just, how the, this, lawyer, Joe Kinsilja, was able to get them to do all this, but Joe Kinsilja. So those are the names to remember: Joe Kinsilja, Seth Jensen, Ann Mayer, and then, of course, the man who wrote it, Ryan Severance of the Pueblo chieftain, who caught this story. You can look at the judicial system right off the bat. You got a district court and you got county court. So you got the Colorado 10th Judicial District, who has 7 judges, and then you have the county court, Pueblo County Court, who has 3 judges. So the 3 judges of the county court is Steve Fieldman, Valerie V. Haynes, and David Lobato. Steve Fieldman, Valerie V. Haynes, and David Lobato. And then the 7 judges of the Colorado 10th Judicial District is William D. Alexander, Allison Ernst, Deborah Ehler, Thomas Flesher, Kim Karn, Jill S. Mattoon, and Larry Schwartz. Okay, so there's 10 judges total that represent the good people of Pueblo, all the Puebloans. And Deborah Ehler is the chief judge. She was appointed to the court by Governor Ritter in August 2008, took office the following December 1st, and then that's Deborah Ehler. She also, went to school and has all these awards. It doesn't actually say much about this. Is on Ballotpedia, which is kind of crazy, right? These are high officials, right? They will print the most insignificant thing. Regarding me and Ballotpedia, we got our issues. But Steve Fieldman, the only thing we know about this judge who's got real power is he joined the court in 2007. He was retained by the voters 2010 and 2014. The election of voters is actually, of the judges, is fascinating here in Colorado. It almost seems like you get a lifetime judge appointment if you get in there, because they run against nobody, and it's just, do you approve of their job or don't you? And that's the decision. Do you like what they do or don't you? So his term expires on January 7th, 2019, and he gets paid $127,000. Steve Fieldman, the county judge.